Well, y'all, Nicki Minaj is back on X, and she's coming for Jay-Z.
From Nicki Minaj allegedly demanding $200 million to Nas unleashing the most savage diss track in hip-hop history. From 50 Cent's endless trolling to Kanye West's shattered brotherhood, here's a dramatic look at 7 rappers who've clashed hardest with Jay-Z. We start with the woman who dragged this drama back into the spotlight, Nicki Minaj. Her feud with Jay-Z is easily one of the loudest and messiest battles in hip-hop today. At the center sits what she calls a massive money scam involving Tidal. Back in 2015, Jay-Z handed her and other artists a 3% stake in the streaming service for exclusive content. She went all in promoting the platform, fully believing the vision. But when Jay-Z sold most of Tidal to Square for $32 million in 2021, everything turned ugly. According to Nicki, she was offered only $1 million for her stake, an amount she considered insulting given the company's valuation and her contribution over all their work.
She tweeted, Jay-Z, call me to settle the karmic debt. It's only collecting more interest. You still in my top 5.
By July 2025, she claimed he owed her between $100 and $200 million, openly demanding he repay what she labeled his karmic debt. But the cash was only one piece of the drama. Nicki Minaj also alleged Roc Nation was deliberately sabotaging her career, backing her rival Megan Thee Stallion and flexing influence to choke her visibility across social media and streaming platforms worldwide today.
She feels like blogs and online platforms don't touch what she's saying, and they don't cover all of her words fully because it's Jay-Z.
The Super Bowl drama poured gasoline on the fire when Jay-Z's Roc Nation chose Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl 59 halftime show in New Orleans instead of her mentor Lil Wayne. Nicki Minaj didn't stay quiet. She blasted the move as pure ego and hate, claiming it was calculated payback aimed at Wayne, Birdman, Drake, and herself. The shots didn't stop there, with Nicki even posting AI-generated images mocking Jay-Z and threatening to scrap her 6th album because of him. By early 2026, her posts turned even darker. After being clowned at the Grammy Awards, she shared wild theories about child sacrifice and political betrayals, dragging Beyoncé and others into the chaos. Jay-Z stayed completely silent through it all, which many see as a deliberate refusal to engage. The feud remains wide open, with no resolution anywhere in sight. Nas. If there's one rivalry that truly defines hip-hop history, it's Nas versus Jay-Z. This wasn't about bruised egos or money. This was an all-out war for the crown of New York City. The tension began back in 1996 when Nas skipped a recording session on Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt. As Jay-Z climbed to the top of NYC after Biggie's death in 1997, the rivalry only intensified. Everything erupted in 2001 when Jay-Z dropped Takeover on the Blueprint, taking shots at Nas's career and credibility. Nas fired back with what many still call the most vicious diss track ever, Ether. It was so ruthless and personal that the name itself became slang for completely destroying someone in a rap battle. Jay-Z fired back with Super Ugly, but many felt he crossed a serious line by bringing up an alleged affair with Nas's girlfriend, Carmen Bryan. Even Jay-Z's own mother reportedly told him he went too far. But here's the twist in the Nas and Jay-Z saga: they actually resolved it. In 2005, they shocked fans by squashing the beef live on stage during Jay-Z's I Declare War tour, trading verses from each other's classic records and showing mutual respect. Since then, they've collaborated multiple times, from Black Republican to BBC to Sorry Not Sorry with DJ Khaled in 2021. When rival casino businesses in 2025 tried to reignite old drama, Nas shut it down immediately, saying they now share a genuine bond and that the beef only lives in fan conversations. Their story proves even the fiercest rivalries can evolve into respect and growth. 50 Cent 50's relationship with Jay-Z is best described as non-stop low-grade warfare. It kicked off in 1999 when 50 dropped How to Rob, rapping about jacking top rappers, Jay-Z included. Jay-Z clapped back instantly at Summer Jam with a now iconic line, "Go against your is dense, I'm about $1, what the is 50 Cent?" Since then, 50 has never stopped poking the bear online. He's claimed Jay-Z blocked his opportunities, including allegedly trying to sabotage his 2022 Super Bowl appearance. In 2024, 50 mocked Jay-Z for showing up at the Mufasa premiere amid accusations, and in early 2026, he resurfaced old lyrics about young women just to stir the pot. Ironically, 50 has also admitted Jay-Z is the superior businessman, praising his strategy of aligning with established stars instead of building new ones. They've even shared a track before on the 2007 I Get Money remix. So while 50 keeps clowning for laughs and attention, this beef is never getting serious. It's just 50 doing what 50 does best. Kanye West. Few bonds in hip-hop are as messy as the one between Kanye West and Jay-Z. It began as mentor and protege, with Kanye producing hits on the Blueprint before Jay-Z signed him as an artist. Their peak came with Watch the Throne in 2011, a chart-topping album followed by tours where they performed in Paris up to 12 times in one night, but cracks soon appeared. Jay-Z and Beyoncé skipping Kanye's 2014 wedding to Kim Kardashian hit Kanye hard. Disputes over title money and a lack of support after Kim's 2016 robbery fueled Kanye's infamous Seattle rant, where he blasted Jay-Z for not checking in and joked about having killers. Jay-Z addressed it on 444 in 2017, saying Kanye crossed the line by involving his family. They briefly reunited on Jail on Donda in 2021, earning a Grammy. But in March 2025, Kanye unleashed a now-deleted Twitter rant attacking Jay-Z and Beyoncé's twins with disgusting names. He later apologized to Black and Jewish communities in January 2026, but notably left Jay-Z's family out, sparking backlash. In June 2025, Jay-Z threw subtle shade by changing a lyric during a Beyoncé concert. Their relationship remains unstable, swinging between short-lived peace and public chaos. Jay-Z's ongoing silence makes it clear he's exhausted by the never-ending drama. Cameron's beef with Jay-Z dates back to the early 2000s Rockefeller era and was rooted in ruthless business politics. In 2002, Dame Dash offered Cam a VP position at the label while Jay-Z was away. When Jay-Z returned and shut it down, Cam felt stabbed in the back, later accusing Jay-Z of stealing Rockefeller, Kanye, and Rocawear from Dame.
Came to the studio to see and a few times or whatever, because they had a relationship. They had a rapport. When unsigned me and Jay came through and was listening to songs, so Jay-Z said, let me talk to you for a minute, because I know Jay-Z before we...
Now here's something we have to focus on, and something I reported last night, the Dylan Gabriel situation. Multiple reports indicate that Dylan Gabriel could be on his way to Atlanta. And like I said before, this organization is systematically moving on from anything tied to Kevin Stansky. We've already seen his coaching staff broken apart. And make no mistake, players connected to that era are next. And at the top of that list, Dylan Gabriel. But just as the path began clearing, the old guard of the NFL media stepped in. Tim Hasselbeck went on national television and didn't simply offer analysis. It felt personal. It felt calculated. Instead of evaluating performance, he questioned the future of Shatter Sanders as a starter. When a former career backup publicly declares that a Pro Bowl-level quarterback has no long-term future, you have to ask what's really driving that narrative. Tim Hasselbeck claimed there's a league-wide belief that no one wants to build around Shatter Sanders. He labeled his physical traits as limited. He suggested that Shatter is on the roster strictly because of contractual circumstances. That's strong criticism for a young quarterback who hasn't even been given a full opportunity to define himself at this level. But here's what makes it interesting. While Tim Hasselbeck was making headlines nationally, the reporters who cover the Browns every single day were pushing back hard. The reaction from local Cleveland media was immediate and pointed. Why? Because they've been inside the building. They've seen the dynamic between Todd Monken and Shatter Sanders up close. A video recently surfaced showing Todd Monken greeting Shatter with clear enthusiasm, even joking that he had wanted to draft him earlier than he ultimately did. That's not how a coach interacts with a player he doubts. That's how a coach responds to someone he believes in. Todd Monken has consistently emphasized two things: effort and execution. And if you look at Shatter Sanders' track record, whether he was battling behind a struggling offensive line at Colorado or performing under the brightest spotlight in college football, those two qualities have always been present.
Talking about me sitting here like this, shackled, and I'm in a hole, so I'm woofing, I'm looking crazy, and I'm looking at him. And they asked him, they said, if I release some, he said, today, would you be responsible, for his whereabouts?
He didn't complain. He didn't deflect blame. He produced. And that kind of intentional, disciplined approach is exactly what Monin is looking for as he builds his credibility in Cleveland. If we're being honest, the physical limitations argument is one of the oldest shortcuts in scouting. It's what gets said when someone doesn't want to fully evaluate the film. They questioned Drew Brees because he wasn't 6 feet 5 inches. They doubted Tom Brady because he didn't look like a prototype athlete. They even criticized Russell Wilson because of his height. Now it's Shatter Sanders' turn. At 6 feet 2 inches, 215 pounds, Shatter Sanders has demonstrated the ability to make every throw on the route tree. He can navigate pressure, extend plays outside the pocket, and deliver accurate passes under duress. The tape shows a quarterback who can function within structure and create when structure breaks down. So when Hasselbeck talks about limitations, what he may really be reacting to is something else: perception. Shatter Sanders doesn't fit the traditional, corporate image some expect from an NFL quarterback. He carries confidence. He carries presence. He carries the Sanders name. And for some analysts, that becomes the headline instead of the performance. Personality gets mistaken for immaturity. Swagger gets confused with lack of polish. And that miscalculation could end up being costly. The Sanders tax is real. Because Dion was bold and outspoken, assumptions are automatically placed on Shatter Sanders. There's an expectation of distraction before there's evidence of it. But when you listen to teammates and coaches, a different description emerges: focused, disciplined, first in the building, last to leave. A quarterback who prepares. A player who absorbs pressure rather than creating it. While the outside world debates social media narratives, Shatter Sanders is in the film room studying cover 3 rotations and defensive tendencies.
And it got to, Wayne was damn near saying he was Rockefeller, and then it just went left.
The truth is, it's the first time I was told this truth. You know, I called them out of respect, like, yo, I was talking to Wayne, just letting you know, boom, boom, boom. So after that, I think we received a letter at our office for, like, torturous interference. And I was like, whoa.
Is it sports?
They do that? It was like, whoa. And it just all...
That gap between public perception and private reality is exactly why he has a chance to shock the league. Shatter Sanders has lived under a microscope since he was a child. This level of scrutiny isn't new to him. You don't rattle someone who grew up with prime time as a mentor. To understand where this could be headed, you also have to look at Todd Monen's track record. He played a key role in helping Lamar Jackson evolve into a more consistent pocket passer without taking away his explosiveness. Todd Monen understands how to design systems around unique quarterbacks, emphasizing strengths while minimizing weaknesses. If he could do that in Baltimore, why couldn't he do it in Cleveland with a player many believe is a more natural pure passer coming out of college? Monen didn't leave stability for comfort. He left because he wanted to build something his way. He's searching for a legacy-defining project, and Shad Sanders fits that profile perfectly. A coach with something to prove paired with a quarterback being told he doesn't belong? That's a dangerous formula for the rest of the AFC. As the offseason unfolds, the noise will only grow louder. The Deshaun Watson situation still hangs over the franchise like a heavy cloud, but clouds don't stay forever. Eventually they move. And when they do, the player who stayed prepared will be the one standing in the light. With Dylan Gabriel gone and the coaching staff reshaped in Monen's vision, the depth chart feels more fluid than ever. Shatter Sanders isn't passively waiting for an opportunity. He's pushing the organization toward one through consistency and preparation. While national voices debate narratives, the real decisions are being shaped on the practice field. The quarterback labeled as limited may soon be holding the keys to the city. And that brings us to the uncomfortable questions. If Shatter Sanders is truly as limited as Tim Hustelbeck suggests, why are the Browns so comfortable moving on from alternative options? Why would a coach with the reputation of Todd Monken stake his credibility on what some call a mid-round project? The answer may be simpler than critics want to admit. Inside the building, they see something different. They see a potential franchise quarterback, one partially shielded by a famous last name, yet judged because of it. It's the ultimate underdog narrative wrapped in celebrity expectations, and it's approaching a pivotal moment. So ask yourself, is the NFL media truly evaluating Shatter or reacting to the name on the back of his jersey? Does Tim Hasselbeck owe this young quarterback a fairer assessment? Or is he simply reflecting a broader league mindset? More importantly, has Todd Monken already made his decision about the future of this offense? The transition is underway. The old era is fading. And the Sanders chapter in Cleveland may be arriving sooner than anyone predicted. Let me know what you think. Is Shatter Sanders the real deal, or just hype? And if you want to stay ahead of the biggest power shifts in the NFL, make sure you subscribe. Because what's happening in Cleveland is only the beginning, and when the lights come on, you won't want to miss it.